It's Erik Nagel. Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. It's opening weekend for Big Hero 6, Disney Pictures adaptation of the Marvel comic book. And recently I got a chance to speak to a lot of people who worked on this movie, cast, crew, etc. So let's start everything off right now with the voices of Go-Go and Honey Lemon, Jamie Chung, and Genesis Rodriguez. Have you done much animation or voiceover work in the past?
Never, not at all.
I did some video game work and a show, X-Men Destiny.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, and it was quite similar, but this is like a process that I've never experienced before. Something that lasted for almost a year, and your character evolves, and they really have the luxury of time to make things right and change things around and make the jokes work or like change this or that. And so I've never experienced anything like it. It's quite different from video game voiceover work.
Were you familiar with Big Hero 6, the Marvel comic book, before this project?
Not at all. No, I'm gonna be honest.
Did you do your research?
No.
At least you're honest.
I'm honest, but this is inspired by. So, I mean, they told us not to study.
To look at it, yeah, because it's going to be quite different. They took the liberty of really making their own story.
Yeah. We work at the same
University.
Yeah, university, and we have like our own little experiments that we're working on, and so we kind of lure Hiro to joining the crew because he's not in the right path. And yeah, then we become like a little family, and then we become superheroes. So thankfully, we didn't have to prepare too much for it.
How excited are you to have your own toys?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But the truth is that I might have like a shrine at the house, like a hoarder kind of a freaky thing afterwards.
By you or your mom?
What?
Shriner thing from you or by your mom?
The honey lemon thing. I'm just gonna get a whole room for like honey lemon stuff. I don't know.
So it's your own obsession.
Yeah.
I've got like 10 Baymaxes stuffed in my little purse.
Yes, I want Baymax everything.
I'm gonna hoard them all.
Yeah.
Did they hook you up? Did they give you everything that your character is on?
I'm joking.
You just took?
No, I'm just joking. No, they did give us some really cool Baymax memorabilia as well as a couple of our own toys, but I didn't know that. And these things sell out so quickly.
Yeah.
I would buy it for them, but they really do sell out.
I know you would like to do more work with Disney, but do you have any other plans going on with Disney?
I'm just so happy to be a part of the family. They said that we were a family now, so now I'm just going to call up my family and cousins every single time, see what's up.
Does family mean you get into the park for free?
I don't know. We'll find out. I'll let you know.
I hope so. I'm going to inquire about that.
Me too.
Big Hero 6, moving on to the voice of Hiro, Ryan Potter. Doing Super Ninjas, right? Super Ninjas for Nickelodeon. You have an extensive background in mixed martial arts, so I can see how that got you onto that show. How do you feel your mixed martial arts background has got you into animation voiceover?
Oh man, it didn't have a role of me actually getting it, but once I was in the booth and I was recording, there's a lot of efforts in the film. He's jumping, he's running, he's getting thrown, and a lot of animated films there's efforts. But I think this film in particular, there's a lot more efforts that my character does, and it's just the noises I make in kung fu class. Like when I'm punching the bag or when I'm sparring with somebody, those are the noises that I make. So it's easy. Ha ha ha. It's second nature to me.
Now your character is Hiro.
His name is Hiro, yeah.
Who is the hero?
Man, yeah, he is.
Now, when you're doing the voiceover work for this, I find voiceover work very fascinating. When you're doing the voiceover work for this, how much of the production is done? Do they let you visualize as you're doing the work? And do they adjust some of the production based on the characteristics and the personality that you bring into the character?
There was nothing. All there was...
Sorry, Genesis Rodriguez is almost knocked you over taking off her shoes.
I took off my shoes, people. Sorry.
Were you guys towering?
Sorry.
People had to look up at you?
No. Put them on for 2 minutes and then you'll know why.
Oh, I got you. Oh, man.
Okay.
Yep. Glad I don't have to wear heels. Oof. But yeah, there was nothing. All there was some very light storyboarding. Now and then some storyboard came in and it was killer. Like, it was really detailed, but it was mainly all sketches. So that they created it visually for me, just in my imagination. They would build it. Oh, this scene is taking place here, the mood, this and that. So yeah, I didn't have a lot to work off of, except what the directors would create for me.
When you do your whole role for the movie, they go and do production. They got to change some things. They got to edit some things. Do they call you back to do some touch-ups? Do you get to visualize it then?
Yeah, the last 2 recording sessions I went in and I did ADR work. So we redid a few lines and I matched it to the production. Before it was I had recorded everything and the production was matched to the performance, the facial expressions I was making in the booth. So there towards the end, I was able to see a little bit of production and I was able to match. But yeah, the script was evolving throughout the entire process, from the rough to the second to the third to the fourth. The film, I don't know, it almost grew legs throughout the entire process, and major parts of the film were cut out, put back in, changed. Even characters were moved around and changed, and the film really did evolve.
How familiar were you with Big Hero 6, the Marvel comic book, before all this came about?
I actually owned Big Hero 6 comic books before I went in an audition, but once I went in for the audition, I went online and I purchased as many as I could find, and all the other ones that Big Hero 6 appears in or guest stars in, the Silver Samurai and the Sunfire. The ones where Big Hero 6 appeared as guests, I had to go and find all those. So, I was pretty familiar with this project.
Well, it's great that you get a chance to work on a property that you are familiar with and a fan of, so you know the history. So it makes it a little bit easier, I would think. Working on this movie, it's now done. You're doing the big promo tour. The toy line is out. It's very impressive. Did they give you any free toys, or did you have to go and get it yourself?
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm actually I'm in the process of working with Bandai right now, because these are the guys that built my childhood toys when I grew up in Japan. I have the Kamen Rider belt, the sword, the helmet. I have the Power Ranger this and that. I have the Ultraman this. These guys made my childhood. So now that they're making this project that I'm just absolutely in love with and I've been a part of, it comes full circle for me. And so we reached out to them and they reached out to us. And we're gonna do a little bit of work with them, whether it's here or whether it's in Japan, and it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Well, you got a great movie. You got your own action figure now. I don't think you could ask for anything more.
No, it's
maybe another movie and a sequel and a franchise.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Ryan, it was great meeting you, man. Much success. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for your time.
Big Hero 6, let's move on to directors Don Hall, Chris Williams, and producer Roy Conli. This is an interesting selection for Disney's first venture to go completely with a Marvel property. Not very mainstream, but it's going to be very mainstream. What was the process behind picking this particular project?
Well, I started making a list of things after John and I talked for the first time about my desire to do take a Marvel comic book and adapt it, so I made a list of things, and I came across this title called Big Hero 6, and I looked it up. I just love the title. I had never read it. Saw a Japanese superhero team. I thought cool, and we put it on the list, and put it up on a I pitched John a bunch of properties, and this was the one he gravitated, and all of us gravitated. I think the other directors too thought, oh, that's the one.
When you heard Big Hero 6, were you immediately thinking something like Voltron?
I guess kind of.
Anything like that with the Japanese robots, you automatically think, oh, it's going to turn into a bigger robot and save the universe.
Yeah, it just had an interesting hook to it. And then when I read the comics, I was like, oh, the characters are actually really fun. And I thought, and the tone of it was actually really, kind of lighter, on the lighter side. It was just very fun and energetic, and I just thought it'd be perfect to bring over to our building and do something with it.
Yeah, when Don pitched it to other directors in the building, we all really gravitated to it. We all saw the potential, and we were very excited when John Lasseter said, let's go ahead and make that one.
Yeah.
So you get the directors on board with this pitch. Again, it's not a mainstream property at this point. Everybody is on board for this, but how do you get Disney to say yes to this? Because usually they don't take that big a gamble on an unknown product.
Well, I think everybody felt early on that actually it worked in our favor, because we were always going to take something and bring it over and kind of make it our own. And with that in mind, it actually worked in our favor that the title's a little bit more on the obscure side, because then it gave us more license to be able to take it and create our own sort of mythology and our own world around this property.
I think with the development of San Francisco and kind of building our own universe, right? It became something of itself, and it became a huge asset to us. We had the complete freedom to make anything we wanted to make.
And I'll also say the studio system can be very complicated sometimes, but ours is simpler. We answer to John Lasseter, and he trusts his gut and he trusts his own taste, and he responded to it. He loved it, and that's all it took.
Just the name of the city. If not for the movie, it's made to be a video game setting.
I can see a video game in the future. Yeah,
Marvel fans growing up, comic books, any of that?
Marvel all the way. Yeah, Marvel all the way.
Now that Disney has the Marvel library, if they say, here, take a look, what other Marvel properties would you like to tinker with? What are you going for? What's on your short list?
Wow.
Huh. I know I can't actually.
Besides getting X-Men back from Fox.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing. Yeah, we'll go over there and steal it away in the middle of the night. No, I don't know. This has been so fun taking this thing and creating our own world with it. So I haven't put any thought into really what happens next, and
I don't think that's true. I'm sure you have a project, but you're just being coy with it.
I'm not kidding. I'm gonna take a long time. I'm gonna take a big break because we worked really hard on getting this thing out the door. So.
What about you two gentlemen? Is there a project that's in the back of your mind that if this goes the way you're hoping it goes, and Disney says, here's the vault, go through, what do you want to do? What's on the list?
I think you have to understand that we've been on this thing for years, and we're this close to being done. And
you're going down to vacation mode.
Well, just emotionally, we're not thinking about the next thing. For us to be able to play it for the crowd that saw it today, it was so gratifying and so emotional.
Yeah, the reception was amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it was amazing. And so we're not thinking about the next thing. We're just enjoying right now, handing the movie over to the audience and letting them live with those characters.
We're also very lucky at our studio that there are several projects in development, and so we can just sort of take our time, get a little R&R, just take a break mentally and physically and creatively, and then we'll see, what happens next.
I'm going sailing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here.
What are you guys doing once this is done?
Well, I'm not going sailing. I would probably end up drowning. We're going to do a little bit of the touring around the world, a little promotion, and then, take a little break.
Family time.
That'd be nice.
I think we both have little kids.
So. I mean, these guys have not seen their families much over the last 2 years. I mean, the focus of this, we've been working 13-hour days and, 6 days a week. It's been an intense schedule.
But bringing home these Baymax toys gets us back in, I'm starting to find I'm getting back in their good graces. I'm welcome back into the family with these new toys.
Well, I was going to say, with the toy line here coming out, this is a unique situation where the product's not really known. The toy line has been pretty impressive. What's out in the stores there, it catches your eye. Yep. Simple white box, big bright red robot. Kids are going right for it here. So the fact that they had this much confidence to put all this out right before the movie comes and everybody understands it because it's not a known franchise as far as mainstream goes. The toy line comes out. A lot of the times they don't get the toys for free. Do you have to go and buy your own product?
I have purchased several of the toys so far. I'm hoping maybe we'll get some freebies soon, but I couldn't wait. I just had to go.
It's a mixed bag. You get some of the stuff, but not all the stuff. So, and I have 2 kids, so I go out and buy 3 of everything. Yeah. So yes, I bought plenty of Big Hero 6 stuff.
I work with the toy people quite a bit, so I generally get a pretty good swag bag at the end of these things.
I don't like the look the other 2 are giving you for saying that.
I know. Well, I think their hands will be in my bag.
So if your family has you guys have the toys, but if your family have the toys as well, what do you do for Christmas now?
Oh, that's going to be tough. I don't know, man.
I've hidden a couple things away, actually. They don't know about a couple of the Fred dolls.
Yeah, that's smart. That's really smart. I don't know. We're going to have Scott Adsit come and pay a visit.
Exactly. Bring the cast home.
Yeah, there we go.
Big Hero 6, really excited about it. It's I hate saying that Disney's taking a chance on this because I think they know better than the public does when it comes to their product, and they put a lot of passion and a lot of heart into what they do. But to do this unknown product to the mainstream and put this out here, I think this opens the door for bigger and better things.
I hope so, Mo. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Big Hero 6, let's talk to the voice of Fred, TJ Miller. And he's adjusting strategically his action figures in the pockets of his suit vest.
I've been carrying these around with me every day. This has been a big thing for me. You always dream that you'll be an action figure, and you hope that your little face will be on there, and look at this.
There it is.
Secret Fred face. Ever heard of it? Ever snurred of it? That's when you smell something a nerd heard. Disney's amazing. I mean, it really was. It feels like a family there, and you do understand why Pixar and Disney make the movies that they make.
Yeah.
They just treat everybody so well, and there's a lot of gratitude. Everyone's so grateful to be working there, grateful to work with the people they do. They're so excited. I mean, it really is. It is like it's a magical kingdom.
I gotta say, I mean, just getting the free toys alone is enough of incentive to work for them. I don't know if you, when you were doing the Cloverfield project, did they give you the monster for free, or did you have to go out and buy that?
No, and I didn't go and buy it out of spite. And that monster killed Rob. He killed the older brother. Terrifying. So I was pissed off at him.
So your character is Fred in the movie. He did go
He
HUD.
killed me. I get killed in a lot of movies. This is one of the few where they kept me alive.
Tell me about Fred.
So, Fred he's kind of the one guy that isn't a tech or science guy, which actually is similar to me and my same thing with my character in Silicon Valley. It's like he runs more on confidence than coding, and false confidence at that. But yeah, I found that, it works because he's a comic book enthusiast and he's a science enthusiast. And more than that, he's like a friendship enthusiast. He loves hanging out with his friends. He loves sort of sharing in their accomplishments and helping them with stuff. And so we slowly kind of find that he's also the narrator in some ways of this experience, because he's the one that begins to realize, you guys, this is a superhero tale. Like, it's happening. That's a villain. That's a super villain at that. And when Hiro decides to make everybody superhero suits, he's like, this is our origin story. This is the genesis of our team. So he kind of does that throughout the film, and he gets more and more excited. And, he's got some heart to him, to be sure, also. And there's some sentimental moments. But mostly, you know me, I'm a comedian, and that's mostly what I bring to the table. So it's a lot of comedy. You get a lot of fun lines from him, a lot of really weird, wacky stuff. I'm an absurdist, so I got some really strange things in the movie that I never thought would make it in. I even said after this song that he has, Fred's Angels, I was like, well, that's unusable, I'm sure, and it's in the movie.
Based on what you just said there, was there room for your personality to develop into the character? Did they let you maybe ad-lib a little bit and see if it worked?
I think more than anybody, I was really given free rein. They sort of said, I kind of said, well, what do you want? What kind of character voice do you want? And they're like, we don't. And I was like, well, what do you want him to sound like? And they're like you. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so what kind of comedy do you want? Like, to make it more of a Disney character? They're like, no, it's your comedy. You just do your thing. And I was like, really? What? And then I just went for it. And that's why there's some sort of absurdist lines that are in there. And that's why I think you can feel me as a comedian in the character. And yeah, they let me improvise. I've got a ton of lines in the movie that I riffed, but also their writers, Chris Williams and everybody, they're so funny. So there was such a foundation to work off of. And there are so many strong lines that they wrote that are in the movie that I felt so, I had a lot of fun, like, performing those lines, that it's a really, really funny movie. I mean, and it's funny because of Baymax and Scott Adsit is an improviser, so they obviously were open to that. They were open to that sort of, they were open to improvisers in general. And so I think, and that's what I like, is that it mixes action, like Marvel action, and superhero story, like in the Marvel tradition, but with the heart and sentimentality that Disney does, with dealing with big topics like grief, revenge, loss, death, all those things, like Disney does so well. But in this movie, they do it more directly, and the characters talk to each other about it, which is a new frontier, I think, even for Disney. And I don't know, all of that. And then it's hilarious, because Disney is really, really, really funny. I mean, you watch Frozen, which is like a classic fairy tale princess story, and it's hilarious. There's a lot of comedy to it. And this one, they did something really spectacular, which was they mixed all of it together, so well. There's a lot to balance there, action and comedy, and in the middle of action sequences there'll be a laugh out loud moment, and then it's right back to the action sequences, and you're laughing, and then suddenly something happens, and you're just, you just want to start crying. I mean, I don't, because I'm a sociopath, but I think people who have actual human emotions and don't have to emulate human emotions, it really makes you tear up. It really is affecting, and it's sad and inspirational so many times throughout the movie that I think people are really, really going to like it. I did. I walked out with my fiance and was like, Jesus, this is crazy. And she was just like, I can't believe that movie, because it had all the elements that she was looking for, but she also, I mean, she's down. She's from Michigan. She'll drink a beer and watch an action movie. So that it has that action, and I think girls and boys are really going to like this.
You're on a hot streak right now with Silicon Valley, Transformers, which you said you died in, and now you're in this here. Do you see a franchise with this series, being that it was? I wouldn't say it was kind of unknown to the mainstream, the Big Hero 6 Marvel Comics, to now have this hit the mainstream. Do you see a franchise with this?
Well, first of all, I think
Scott Addis here.
Yeah, first of all, for me, a hot streak, it was the time that I started filming Yogi Bear 3D until Yogi Bear 3D came out and made, $100 million domestic. So that was my hot streak. This is sort of a soft landing into disappointment and a career that's plateauing. Pantan's hand. This is Baymax right here next to us.
Hello.
The funniest part of the movie. Listen to that. That's it, isn't it?
I sound just like
I was trying to get you to, yeah. I love that. Yeah, I hope this is a franchise. I think it's set up to be. And, people don't know the Big Hero 6 comics now, but they will on November 7th.
TJ Miller, thank you very much for your time, man. Big Hero 6, let's talk to the voice of Baymax, Scott Adsit.
Hi.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you again.
I've seen you at many cons here where you're walking the floor actually shopping.
Oh, yeah.
And looking for toys and things like that. And now you have your own toy.
I'm holding a version of my character in my hand right now, one of many.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get more, because I collect toys and action figures. So I can say that proudly now that I'm holding one of me.
What does it feel like to do panel and do press at the Comic-Cons when you're also a fan, when you walk around trying not to be noticed and buying your own stuff?
It seems ridiculous. I feel unworthy to talk to you right now. And I also I can't wait to just get out there and stop talking to you and go shopping. That's not true. I love talking to you. So it's weird to be on the other side. I think when I started going to comic book conventions, I was not on any kind of national scale of recognition. And then 30 Rock happened, and then I started having a hard time getting around the Comic-Cons, and I would get stopped, and it's all lovely, and people, I love to meet people, and please stop me if you see me. But it changed the experience. So now I'm already I'm on the other side of the mirror now, and now I'm just in Wonderland, and everything is really weird to see, like behind the scenes, and having people interested in my opinion about things, and that's very heady and very nerdy.
Well, while doing these cons, not for work, but on your own, exploring, checking out all the booths and buying stuff, do you feel now with the success of 30 Rock and definitely with the success of Big Hero 6, do you feel that you have to dress down in order for people not to recognize you?
No. I don't
wear like one of Judas' hats?
No, that would get more attention. No, I just wander around and I try to remember to have good posture. And I try to remember that my face, when it's neutral, is sad looking, even though I'm not. So I try to look a little happier, because I know that people might recognize me, and I don't want them to think, oh, Pete Hornberger's not a happy man. But I am. I really am.
That's a smart way to go, because some celebrities do dress down for this when they're around the floor, walking around the floor.
Yeah.
One example is Thomas Jane. He before Hung came out, he was dressed up and he looked almost like a homeless person.
Yeah.
And all it did was draw more attention, because you'd see a guy buy the T-shirts and go, "What is that homeless guy doing?" And then everyone's go, "Oh my God, it's Thomas Jane."
Yeah. Who's that really attractive homeless guy?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I have not had to put on like a Bart Simpson mask like Matt Smith to walk around, because I'm not getting mobbed. I'm getting very graciously asked for pictures and autographs and just a handshake. So people are always very nice, and they're not overwhelming me. So I don't need to dress up as anything else.
Tell me about your character in the movie here.
He's a healthcare provider. He's a nurse, essentially. He's inflatable. He's a robot who's inflatable and latex kind of material, so that he can administer care without hurting. So he's not metal touching flesh. And in the course of it, Hiro, the center of the film, decides that this robot would be better served to go after the villain of the piece if he was armored up. So he makes this 3D printed armor, and a good deal of the film is about their relationship and how they learn from each other about their own hearts. Although Baymax can't be said to have a heart, you might see a hint of one here and there. Although we won't admit that. He's not a Pinocchio trying to become a human being at all. But hopefully you'll recognize some emotions in there that you can say, oh yeah, I saw an emotion, but I can't prove it.
Now, you have a very extensive body of work, comedy writing, 30 Rock, this, and a whole bunch of other things here. Do you find that people will be more impressed that you now have your own toy rather than all the other success that you've had?
I am. Yeah.
Is your family proud?
My family, yeah. I brought some of them here today, and they seem very pleased that I'm getting the attention that I'm getting and that I'm being interviewed right now. They really enjoy that. So do I. So thank you.